We just mathematically calculated the absolute best loot spots in buried cities so you don't have to waste your time. We targeted only the heavy hitters: Plaza Rosa, Grandioso Apartments, Library, Hospital, Research, and Space Travel Complex. Just like the damn Battlegrounds analysis, we kept the data pure. No looting dead players, we only counted what the map spawned. If we couldn't carry it, we logged the value. And yes, since I finally unlocked the breach skill after the expedition, every found locker is included. Key rooms? Still no, sorry Town Hall, maybe next time. I once again dragged my friends along as pack mules to ensure the sample size was huge. I love unpaid labor. And honestly, wait until you see the stats we got for Grandioso and Hospital. It's crazy. Let's break down the numbers. I'll stop teasing and get right into the Grandioso Apartments. Honestly, the looting path here is kind of obvious, but for the sake of efficiency, here's the play. If you start at the bottom of the first building, you shouldn't be missing a single scrap. You vacuum up one floor, hit the elevator shaft, and keep going up until you hit the roof. Then, instead of running all the way down to start the second building from the bottom, don't waste your time, just jump across and clear the second building from the roof down. On every single floor, your eyes should be glued to the left side of the elevator shaft. That is where the money is. You have the kitchen and the bedroom on the left side of the elevator. These two rooms are the bread and butter of this location. They're usually packed with valuables that you can easily flip when you get back to Speranza. Other than that, you are going to find a lot of ropes, duct tape, and other small goodies we all need. On the other side of the elevator shaft, it's pretty much the same residential loot pool. Now, there is a locked key room at the very bottom of the northern building, and trust me, that room is pretty damn good. But as you know the rules, no keys are allowed, so we aren't counting it. Just know that if you do have the key, your profits are gonna be even higher. And finally, do not forget the rooftop. It usually spawns that rusty metal box which sometimes loves to hide the expensive items. Other than that, the strategy is straightforward. There's also a staircase in both buildings, so if you encounter any enemies, get ready for a cardio workout. Now let's address the elephant in the room. I know a lot of people talk about Grandioso Apartments being absolutely horrendous during daytime raids, and let me tell you, before I started making this video, I was right there with you. I thought it was a waste of time. But after we actually ran the numbers, I completely changed my mind. If you saw my last video about damn Battlegrounds, you know the average for the best spots was hovering around 110,000. So you might be surprised to see how Grandioso stacks up. The low is a very solid 67,401. For a bad location, that is a very high floor. The high is 109,313. That is pretty much touching the average of the best spots in damn Battlegrounds. Now I have to agree with the critics slightly here. The loot value is kind of inconsistent. About 50 to 60% of what you find is just raw valuables. But even during daytime raids, the loot was pretty damn good. We ended up with 88,976 as an average. To be honest with you, I completely did not expect it to be this high. I was predicting more of a 60k average max, but it genuinely surprised me. And here is the kicker. We did not meet players even a single time here. So it is pretty safe to say that the risk to reward ratio here is absolutely insane. And the verdict is this: it is a very safe place to loot as a duo or a trio, especially if you just need raw monetary value. However, if you are hunting for specific crafting components, you should probably try your luck elsewhere. But generally, for a safe run with an extraction nearby, it is a very good spot. Alright, let's talk about possibly the worst one of all, the library. Honestly, no wonder we never see people here and probably don't even think twice about this area. Here's the layout. You have the front, where you can find the bookshelves and all the books, and the back, which has 3 floors and a roof. Pro tip, the front is a dead zone, don't go there, literally zero loot. Ignore it and go straight to the back. The main attraction here in the first floor of the back is the green lockers that lead to a staircase. Grab the valuables there. The big room has some drawers, but that's about it. Second floor, more green lockers. This is your spot for explosive compound, crude explosives, rubber, and some other materials. The two main rooms are mostly crafting and recycling clutter, radios, headphones, humidifiers. I did found antiseptic ones, but don't expect anything specific. In the third floor, you've got 2 rooms with drawers, usually holding meds, cloth, and chemicals. Legend says a raider bag spawns here, but we didn't see it even a single time. And then there's the roof. Check this specific spot. A gun crate spawned for us maybe twice. It's rare, as all the other ones, but if you need a weapon, look there. And funnily enough, on our very last run, we found a medical bag at the front of the building just above the entrance, on the small roof section. I didn't even know that existed until the end, so keep an eye out. The loot value is pretty mid. No blueprints, maybe a pink item or 2 if you're lucky. The trade-off, though, is safety. We saw one guy run past, most people are fighting at the hospital or trying to hunt the bastion nearby, so you are usually safe. The lowest loot value for this area was 41,954, which is pretty disappointing. The high, however, is 65,036. Considering this is the ceiling, I wouldn't say it's really great. And the average of this area is 53,601. So I would say it's okay at best. And the verdict is this: if you want a quick, stress-free loot run, hit the library. You might fill up your inventory as a duo, but for a trio, this is just a quick snack on your way to the hospital at best. The only real plus side, the subway extraction is right outside the main door, so you can loot and leave instantly. Okay, I wanted to save the hospital for last, but let's just get into it. This place is massive, but it technically only has 2 lootable floors. First, there is the bottom floor, where the magic happens. Start at the parking lot staircase, which is the southern staircase, and work your way in. You have research rooms absolutely packed with drawers. Do not skip these. Yes, they have medical loot, but they are also hiding crazy good valuables. Check the admin desk, there's always a drawer or two. The admin back rooms have crazy amount of blue drawers and white drawers, and then there's also the hallway desk, which has 1 or 2 drawers. Don't miss the gurney right next to it though. But wait, there is a whole other side. If you cross the room to the north, you unlock even more drawers. You've got a separate room with 2 white ones. Then there's also a key room, which we aren't counting, but it's there. And then we have the big red drawers, which everyone loves. These are critical. They usually hold the expensive sellables. Check the medical emergency room, and then the hallway next to it. There's a desk there every single time. Honestly, just clearing this floor usually filled our inventories completely. We actually had to leave loot behind because we physically couldn't carry it all. And for the upper floor, the layout is basically a smaller tweak of the bottom floor. Just think simply without the other side of the elevator shaft. I'd say this floor holds about 30 to 35% of the building's total value. The loot pool here is obviously medicine heavy, gas masks, antiseptics, virus sprays, syringes, but we're also consistently found crafting goods, speaker components, fabric, chemicals, rope, bioscanners, and weirdly enough, Exodus modules. Just like downstairs, hit the admin desk, the drawers near the windows, and clean it out. And obviously don't forget the whole section behind the admin desk. There's also a golden nugget hidden. On my very first run, I found a raider bag on the bottom floor, tucked right under the southern staircase. And it wasn't like a fluke, it would spawn almost every single time. Do not miss that spot. The strategy, well, my advice, just literally be a vacuum cleaner. Suck up everything on the bottom floor, go up, suck up the rest, and go down. Check the bottom of the zipline and the extraction area for stragglers on your way out. There's usually a blue suitcase down there. And obviously, it's a red area, so there's a little bit of danger, so keep your head on a swivel. We fought players face to face twice and saw a raider getting lit up by someone else. I think he was a stray or something. You are rarely alone here, to be honest. Now the values are as follows. The low is a very solid 91,884. That is an absolutely crazy floor. Even the best spots in damn battlegrounds couldn't match a bad run here. You will be satisfied. The highest value we could extract with was 109,812. Weirdly lower than I expected. The range is tight, but still really good. And the average was 102,020. And the verdict is this. This is a place with mountains of loot. It satisfies everyone's hunger. It is dangerous, but the best part, the extraction is literally inside the building. If you spawn close to it at the beginning of the raid and loot fast, it is a guaranteed god run. Alright, let's talk about the worst place on the whole map. Plaza Rosa. I'm not joking, it took us 12 attempts to get clean data because this place is literally a constant war zone. To get accurate stats here without dying and looting everything, we had to be fast. By splitting the labor, we usually strip this entire area in 3 minutes flat. Here's how you do it. Zone 1, the pharmacy. This is the main building. You can enter either through the roof or through the main bottom entrance. The top floor has drawers and a lot of good loot, but the second floor is the moneymaker. It is packed with valuables. Vacuum everything there, then hit the kitchen and pharmacy shelves on the ground floor. Now there's also the residential side, and honestly this connector building is kind of skippable. Rumor says an ammo crate spawns here, but I never saw it. The attic is just trash bags, so just grab what you see in the first 2 floors and move on. The third zone is the coffee shop. This is right across the extraction. Get ready for a lot of generic junk. I'm talking toasters and ice cream scoopers. The coffee shop building also has 3 floors. It also has an attic, but there's rarely anything there. Honestly, the route here is pretty much the same as in the pharmacy building, literally just vacuum everything from the floor up. And I realized that in Plaza Rosa, the best hardware comes in the shape of guns, gun parts, and blueprints. The catch with the Plaza Rosa is this: if you arrive past the 25-minute mark, don't bother. It's probably gonna be either empty or you're walking into a trap. We had a shootout almost every single time we visited. And now let's look at the numbers. The lowest amount that we properly extracted with was 70,980. And for a small yellow area, that is a very high floor. The highest amount though was 106,267. That run was crazy. My friend walked out with 2 horizontal stocks, an anvil splitter, a photoelectric clock, and a mixtape. So all of that sums it up to the average of 82,799. The quick verdict of this area is that the extraction is right there, so it's a quick getaway, and the loot density is amazing. But unless you are ready for a shootout straight out of a Western movie, stay away. Right before we hit the craziest place in the game, let's give research a chance. To be honest, I assumed that since it sits right next to space travel, it must have god tier loot. Spoiler, I was wrong. You will honestly have a better time just going to Grandioso most of the time. The layout is a bit confusing, so let's simplify it. You have the south side and the north side. Let's start with the south side. If you enter here, you have 3 floors. The staircases are lined with green lockers, so you know the drill. Loot them all. Then there are side rooms. They are mostly medical. Expect syringes, durable cloth, and chemicals. Sometimes they are empty, sometimes they are full, but always check them. There's a couple more medical rooms on the first floor on the crossing towards the north side. Now to get to the north side, simply cross over, and it becomes office space central. We are talking gazillions of stable drawers and computers. This is where you get your batteries, processors, or plastic parts. If you go down a floor on the north side, it's a copy-paste of the one above, except for a sneaky side medical room that is easy to skip. And at the very bottom, you will almost always find 2 or 3 great mulane plants just sitting there, and maybe a couple of lootable terminals. Now to get to the rooftop in the north section, there are 2 zip lines. Take the second one that goes up. Once you are on the roof, you will usually find an ammo box there, some breachable containers, and a grenade box just outside next to the sign. I never saw much else, but hey, it's hella beautiful up here. Anyway, that's about it. Now the numbers. The lowest amount we got was 70,570, which is decent for a yellow area. The high was a kind of expected 102,203, and the average we got for all these runs is 83,497. So if you noticed, these numbers are almost identical to Plaza Rosa. So where's the difference? Shut the fuck up! We only fought players 2 times out of 6 runs, and one of those was just crazy bad matchmaking luck. Everyone skips research because they think it's trash, which means it is usually safe for you. While there is a massacre happening next door at space travel, research is a chill vibe. It feels like summer on the roof, the loot is solid, and you save your brain cells. Recommended for a stress-free run. And finally we have space travel, and goddamn, this is it. Statistically, this is the single best area across both Dam and Buried City. This building is a 5-floor monster, so let's climb it floor by floor. Since the first floor is covered with sand, let's start with floor 2. This floor is packed with green lockers holding great random items like cameras and power cables. There is a room across the hallway with a trash bin and some electrical boxes, but honestly, it's a hit or miss. Just focus on the lockers. Floor 3 is basically drawer city. You will find insane amounts of plastic parts, fabric, and chemicals here. There are 2 main lootable rooms. There are rooms across the hall, but they rarely have anything, so stick to the main ones. Honestly, you can fill your inventory just from floors 2 and 3 alone. Now there's also floor 4. This floor is basically a ghost town. It's usually empty, maybe a grenade satchel next to the elevator. However, if you plan on visiting space travel, bring the JKV employee access card. There's a green key room here. We didn't count it for the video, of course, but don't skip it. And now floor 5, as soon as you go up, you hit the hallway. Be careful here, you can get pushed from 3 or 4 different angles. And the loot, it's servers. This is where you find your processors, sensors, and plastic parts. There's also a lot of office desks with, once again, more drawers. And floor 6, this is just more office space. It has the same loot pool as the drawers below, but it tops off the run. We hit record numbers here. We physically couldn't carry it all, but don't worry, we counted every single scrap. And now the numbers. And these are absurd. The low was 124,283. Let that sink in. Our worst run here beat the average of every other spot on the map and on Damn Battlegrounds as well. The high was 174,748. I don't think we're beating that record anytime soon. And the average was 147,314. We were consistently hitting 140 to 150k every single run. And it's a little bit dangerous. This is a red area right next to research, so you are kind of surrounded. But surprisingly, we only fought 3 times out of 7 runs. It wasn't as bad as we expected. And the quick verdict is that it is absolutely loaded, and the extraction is right outside near the parking lot. If you get there early, this is the safest way to make 150k in the game. Just be ready for anything. So, there we go. Space Travel 1 by a mile. Subscribe, bye!